一双鸳鸯戏在雨中，那水
There are four trends of media theory. In the study of media theory, there are four trends. Take a look at the four trends. In a year or two, when you are writing your own graduation thesis, these four trends may give you some good inspiration where or what you want to write your dissertation about. Okay, four of them. There are four trends. The first one is mass society and the mass culture trend. And the second trend is the so-called limited effects trend. And the third trend is the critical cultural trend. Sounds very familiar, right? And the last trend is the meaning-making trend. Let's take a look at them one by one very quickly. For the mass society and mass culture trend, this trend appeared, chronically speaking, this one appeared the earliest. This trend appeared at the time when the first wave of industrial revolution reached its peak, when the first industrial revolution was finished in the Western world. Sorry, question. When did the first industrial revolution happen? High school history lesson. Roughly speaking, it's from the second half of the 18th century to the first half of the 19th century. It lasted about 80 or 100 years. No more than 100 years, perhaps 80 years. From the time of Isaac Newton to the time when large machinery such as the steam engine and railway was widely built in the Western world. It lasted for, say, 80, 90 years, and it first happened in, say, England, when they first created those machineries, automatic industrial machineries for textile factories. Not only for textile industry, but also for other industries, such as metallurgical industry, the iron, copper, metal producing industry. And then roughly it's ended before the start of the second half of the 19th century. This mass society and mass culture trend appeared just at the end or the peak of the first industrial revolution, meaning from the second half, the latter half of the 19th century, where rapid development of large factories make their appearance in urban areas, drawing huge amount of population from the rural area, from the rural regions of our country to the urban area of the country, where these people, these massive scaled groups, these large populations can find employment in these large-scaled industrial factories. The problem is, when such people migrated from the rural areas to urban areas, and the population concentrates around these urban centers, demography changes rapidly. People's way of living, people's beliefs, their material existence all changed drastically. The printing presses, one of the dramatic changes is about the powerful printing press or the printing industry. Such an industry allowed creation of newspapers to be printed at on a massive scale and be sold at very cheap price, declining prices to the rapidly growing populations of readers, the city dwellers. In this trend of mass society, mass culture theories for communication, theorists tend to blame, scholars tend to blame the media for pandering to lower class tastes. For pander, what does pandering mean? This is a new word. Pandering means catering to or indulging the lower class tastes. Do whatever the lower class tastes take them. So they blame the media for ruining the lower class tastes, fomenting political unrest, and subverting important cultural norms. And such a trend is deeply rooted in the nostalgia of the old days, the so-called golden age that never existed. The old days when proper people were in proper places. The aristocrats were in the places of government and church and the places of domination, whereas the rural people, the peasants, and the workers and the laborers are kept in the proper lowly places. Such a trend of mass culture, mass communication, and the mass society trend anticipates a nightmare future. The key word is nightmare. These theorists who take the mass culture and mass society theories to take part in this trend thinks too seriously and too negatively about the appearance of modern media in their times. That is the printing media, which made newspapers to be able to circulate it on a massive scale. They anticipate a nightmare future in which social order is broken down. Elite seize power. Individual freedom is lost. Very pessimistic, negative outlook for the future society, where the mass media goes very wrong. And the mass media thusly is troublesome, if not downright dangerous. Mass society idea holds strong appeal for social elites whose power is threatened by the change. At that time, from the latter half of the 19th century, the world was shaken to the root with that massive migration of labor workers from rural areas to urban centers, and with the modern industry, with the large machinery enabling capitalistic enterprises, industrial enterprises to appear at an accelerated rate and making possible wealth to concentrate at an alarming rate. Imagine that society, imagine that situation. Old money, old wealth, old aristocracy were shaken to the root, were threatened by all these tremendous drastic changes, especially social, economical, and political. They were fearful, they were pessimistic, they were negative. It's unavoidable. The examples given here are the penny press in the 1830s, yellow journalism 1890s. I think these two have all their origins in the United States, but take a look, check them. Penny press probably is from England. And the movies in the 1920s, radio 1930s, TV 1950s, so on and so forth. These mass scale, these mass communication, forms of mass communication underpinned, supported by modern technology, pose great threats for the old elites who are dying out, who are becoming extinct in their own times. Okay, they were accused to cater to the reader in the middle and lower social classes using simple, especially sensational content. Nowadays, we have another name for such media, print media or social media. They're called, there is a word for them. There is a word for them starting with T, tabloid. T-A-B-L-O-I-D, tabloid. Most of the time, the content in such sensational media is entertainment for the mass, rather than serious information for educated population.